We are recording, we are harnessing, let me see if this is working well here, just adjust this slightly. My challenge looking at the camera as my son, if it's my advice, my challenge is to show that who writes straws. So I've already made a 3 here. So my challenge is to take this from here to show that who writes does this, put an exclamation that who writes draws. I have a lot of things accumulated in my head because I am 75 years old, but very messy, very disorganized. And then his young son will assist him throughout this script. So now you will present to the audience. What are you going to present in this first lesson? Oh right, you had mentioned this fundamental one. In this first lesson, I will write some numbers and prove that writing is drawing. I also want to talk about how we need to tame our hand, you know? Something like a maestro reading, you know? Even that had a bit of rhythm in the past. So straight lines and curves and us working on that. And the other thing I want in the end, more towards the end, to start doing something more, elaborate and show 1-2 pieces that I've already made. And surely one thing that very quickly, whoever lives you this, who writes draws, will be able to do it too. That's what I want to prove. Another thing is that during the July holidays, especially during the July holidays, many fathers and children come. During the December holidays, less because people go to the coast, but in July many people come. And I always show this here. I make a 3. And usually I start showing the children. That starting from a 3, I've already made a scribble here. That I'm making a 0, 2 zeros or 2 OS. And of course, 3, 2 little teeth, a tail, reinforce here a bit. And that's it. Who writes draws? Let's see this sheet here. So far I've made a 3, it's really cool. Practicing this thing of making mirrored letters too. Every time you mirror a letter, I think you're trembling. Someone said that. I don't know if it's true though. You're training the left-right side of the brain. I never know. But this here is a mirrored 3, right? So this game of starting to do it upside down, sideways, tilted, 3 and any other letter. I am making an H here, especially because the H will be very important when we are making I cut one in the same, you know? The H will make it much easier for this game of making a body one, but that's another story. So here I played a bit with 3s, then I made a skinny 3 here. A 3 here, more chubby, and then I made a 3 like mirrored right. A 3 rounder on top, round on the bottom, and I saw that it looked more like a dog than a mouse. It was a characteristic of the dog, right? You more chubby like that? Red, yes, continuing here. It's what I could always have done in a series, right? I made one, I'm doing it now, I'm taking it easy, well, nothing good. Oh right, I made a mirrored 3 here, who makes a mouse? Makes a cat, right? So the 3 is here, I'll take advantage, and made a cat, here I made more 3s, we will leave the 3 now, okay? I made more 3s, here I make a 3 more freely, I also make what is not writing, they will turn. I made 1 and someone here, and let's make this little hair of this guy here parted like this, that already gave another 1 over there. I'll make a little bow tie, he also makes his little bow tie. The 3s are running out, but I will, because why not, even we have a exchange of expression here, look, you know that. Awkward laugh, like that? We'll talk about Your expression in abundance at that point. This here, a bit of a wrinkle here, I am more of a lady here, 3 here, but this here is not a direct pass, because I already said 1 of 3, but there are more 3s. Here now, a fundamental thing for us to tame our hand. It is very important that we practice straight lines and curves, so that our hand becomes malleable. Verticals, horizontals. Look, I start here making a 5. Come here, such, I make an L. Come here, I make an 8. Curves and straight lines, but ellipses, right, make some ellipses. But always, always, with love, very free, that's it. I'll make a 3, make a 4, right, I made a 4 here, that turned into a chair, of course, but here, then, a 4. To center it really, let's try to say a 4, and here. I made a figure here, with no major consequences, 4. 5, 6, 7, that thing of the 3, mirrored. Look folks, I'll make a 3, so take a 3. Then very simply, I'll make I'll go here, I'll go here, 2 circles, let's do here now. But paint here, to make a painted claw here, okay. Right, a bit of me, viruses, so here it is, hands. Continuing this story with letters, let's see. And here, connects with Australia, kangaroo, Let's see, and then let's add some color here on this. Rooster, you have to add a bit of color here, a C. This rooster, he will be very important because when we get to the end with these letters, and with some other letters we will be showing the pieces I make, and that are very simple. And are very possible to do. Okay, it's a very cool thing. Let's show that finished piece later. The leg just landed on me here, center. Center, let me center it. Here is a rooster. I can play there, a bit of cost here. One more rooster. Okay, let's make this leg forward here. It certainly starts on the path, so okay, now nearing the end a bit. I want to show this possibility of us already constructing something. And I will take this moment to talk a little about flaws and effects. Right, this brush, it's a very cheap brush. If it were a brush made of ox hair, martyr's hair, right. To see, show it to the top camera too, okay, martyr's hair. Some people have asked me in the past about the paper I used and such. Usually I use sulfite paper, regular paper. And sometimes this brush here, I'll show you now that it's a very cheap brush. But look here, what happens with the brush, what I'm doing now in LS. And here I made a V, the rooster is here, it's a very cocky V. I also started a bit, and look at the effect it gave, centering it, of course. The effect it gave here, I will add a bit of color. Just so we can see, and I take the rooster, I think sometimes I have to show the rooster I made, because I think he is kind of footless. And such, later with that line with the rooster, I can put the photo in the edit, so do that, in the edit, focus here, put it here for my daughter. Put it here for me and such, what a good thing, but I think it's really cool. This pen keeps falling apart, falling apart, it must be, one more V, a V, an S, a rooster. It could be many other things, this happens a lot. In this thing of us playing with training. doing it in a very let's go to pencil, one for the pencil. It won't show well to do it well without thinking too much about what you're doing. But you start doing it and such. I'll even do a little doodle here. A moment I use to do something like this. I'll do it on the other side of the sheet. I'll use a new sheet. I'll do that. I'll make a drawing like this with a very free hand, and people would make a hasty reading of what I was doing, because in fact I was doing this drawing here. It's very much that thing of freehand. Of the freehand, I'll see here, the rest is just a length. But it's the posture of someone who is drawing, not doing, not a species of the world like that, very loose here below. And it becomes a rooster, and it becomes an interesting rooster. I brought one here that's already finished, and in this rooster. Later with ink, no, with a pen. After having made this rooster, then I start playing with the marker. With the marker, no, I start making some lines around. So these lines here were made later. But you start doing something very artistic. I have here, I'll take a rooster. Look, this rooster here is a rooster. Consider that whoever is watching will see it through the top camera, but it's fine here like this. So okay, I made a rooster, except here, I added black and around and put the monotype. I don't think the monotype makes the drawing, but it gives it a certain composition. And there's another one I made, which actually was a failure. This here is a monotype. At some point I'll talk about monotype. On a smooth surface, for example, glass, a Formica sheet. I throw colors, and then with a sheet of paper, I come on top, press, and a drawing comes out, a unique drawing, a unique painting. It's an engraving, but since it's a single copy, we call it monotype, but this one here, the ink spreads a bit. But I thought it turned out beautiful. These hands here I liked. I thought it turned out with a beautiful face, so it was a so-called flaw that turned into a cool effect. I added black around. But then I felt a need to make white lines around. And I thought it turned out interesting. That white line, I made it with a marker. It's a pen here that produces white ink. So nowadays we have a lot of ease with brushes, with pens. It's something we'll also be able to talk about over time, so are you? Is that it, right? I think so. Then great, let's go. We're done. What do you think, man? I think it was very good. Here it's good. 23 minutes. Look all this, Samuel.